Sounds app, on your smart speaker,
Play BBC Radio Kent.
and on your radio.
The sounds of Kent is
BBC Radio Kent.
I'm here this afternoon and tomorrow, in fact. I'm looking forward to being back. But super excited with my first guest as well, because this lady is absolutely fabulous. Her name is Liz Foster, and she is behind something pretty cool called Quiz Trail. Now, Quiz Trail are phenomenal. If you're looking for something to do a little bit different, that's going to educate the family, something you can all do together and all join in with. Getting out there, a little bit like a treasure hunt, but really, what are you hunting for, apart from knowledge, I suppose, about your local area? Liz, you are the lady behind it. I know you're going to be able to describe it much, much better than me. Welcome to the show.
Good afternoon, Erika. Hi, nice to speak to you.
Lovely to speak to you, Liz. I'm so glad that you can chat to me today, because you've actually been a very busy girl this morning, haven't you?
I have had a busy day. This morning I've just been over to Sittingbourne with the historical research group there. There's been a launch event for the Sittingbourne Quiz Trail, which has been great. So I've been mixing with the hoi polloi, with Lady Mayor was there and Councillor Karen. So we had a very nice launch do. And, for the Sittingbourne Trail, now, there's a fascinating place with where Queen Elizabeth dined, the first dined with her French boyfriend at the time. So there you go. I
never would have known that. Go through Sittingbourne so frequently on the train. You know, I'm a Herne Bayer, so that's on my bit of the train. When I come into work today, there's a route I can come in and go through Sittingbourne. Yeah. Wouldn't have occurred to me that it had royal connections like that.
Absolutely. The Tudors stopped for dinner there. Now, there you go.
See, Liz, you are the perfect dinner party guest because you are full of these fascinating facts. Take me back to the very, very beginning. Sittingbourne launched today, but the first Quiz Trail. How did it come about and how did you get the idea? Because I genuinely think if you hadn't have done it, I look back and I think, why wasn't someone doing this? It's such a great idea.
Absolutely. So my two daughters, Rebecca and Laura, and I have always loved walking, and I tell myself they always loved history, but I think that was more, they were always dragged around by mum. And I did my history GCSE in my 40s. I went to evening class and did it, and I've always just been fascinated with history, but more so not sort of what year was a building put up, what year was a stained glass window put in and things like that, but more so about what went on in the olden days and who got up to what and that sort of thing. So when I was living near Rochester, very familiar with it, got to know it really well, and thought, wouldn't it be nice to make it into a fun trail so that you could do a trail, but rather than just walking around pointing things out, put some questions in for adults, questions in for children, and make it into a challenging activity rather than just a walk. So we started with Rochester, and we were only ever going to do Rochester. It was just a little hobby we did. And then lockdown came, and so I got furloughed for 6 months. So for that 6 months, I just sat writing and investigating the history of Kent, which has been absolutely fascinating. And I think once you scratch the surface and all the different things you find out, we just got hooked on making these trails. So we now have 19 all across Kent.
Wow.
And we've also got 3 in East Sussex, including Eastbourne and a new one at Battle, and then 8 in Surrey as well. So we're sort of spreading out, but it's more so somebody might suggest a place and we go, oh yeah, that would be great, and then we start digging and get hooked.
Well, I suppose I throw an area like, I know Oxford, Berkshire, lots of fascinating places, maybe coastal. Obviously, I know, you're not too far from the coast in Kent. What sort of ideas do you have if you did want to spread it out, make it, over the whole of the country? I don't see any reason that quiz trails wouldn't catch on everywhere because, I can think of places farther afield. York, for example, has some fascinating stuff. I can't, in fact, now I've got too many ideas about where you can go next.
That's the thing, it's time. It's having time to do everywhere, but I think it's really just snowballed on us. We've just got really hooked on doing them, and the feedback we get is fabulous because I love it that children get engaged in history because, let's say, having had 3 children, sit down, they don't want me to sit there and lecture them about history. I think for them to be out and looking around where they live and to find out what goes on there, what went on there, I just think that's brilliant for children to sort of carry on. Because I don't know about you, but when I was at school, history was learning lots of dates, and that wasn't really very exciting. But no. I think to actually get out as an activity and off the screens for a little while, is encouraging as well. So there are so many places that we could do, but I say it's time that is the restrictor, really. Because we're just finishing Maidstone at the moment, and that, again, is fascinating, like the Hazlitt Theatre, all about William Hazlitt, the actor it was named after, and and you're saying about dinner parties, my mum says, full of useless information.
Well, that's actually not true, but it's when it's information that's happening on your doorstep, and people will have, either seen something at the Hazlitt Theatre or maybe walked past it that morning when they were bringing their shopping back to the car. Genuinely, it makes it that much more interesting, and it does take it out of a textbook and makes it very practical, real history. And to youngsters and children, you must have had some great reactions, actually turning it into something that they can really understand.
That's it. And then, even at the Hazlitt, I've been going to Hazlitt for years, and across the way, above a doorway, is a little wooden carved head of Benjamin Disraeli, who was the Prime Minister there. No, I'd never spotted that before I started researching it. And we've all walked past all these things. So in our trails, we do lots of, pointing out, look up, look across, look down, to see all these things that are there, because they're all there. All this history sits around us, and we're in our modern times with the internet and everything, but all those lovely old things that were there 100, 150 longer are all there, and it's great to see them.
No, I think it's wonderful, and it's one of the reasons I really love what you're doing. Let's take it down to basics. If people do want to take part in a quiz trail, where can they get one of your clever little books? Right,
so we've got a website, and that's www.quiztrail.co.uk. We keep them all to £5.99. We keep them as low cost as we can.
Lovely.
So that and everybody can share a book. So you don't need one each. You do it as a small group. You can go on your own and do them. You can go in a small group, families, and it's something as well that all ages can do together. So we get stories of people like in their 80s doing it with their grandchildren and great-grandchildren, and so everybody can go out for £5.99 and have a lovely outing. And we also have stockists in most towns, not all towns yet, and that's shops that are selling them for us. So you can look on our website and see if there's one in your local town, and then pop in there and say everybody is selling them at £5.99. So it's a really sort of low-cost activity, as well as healthy.
I just think it's a wonderfully good idea, and particularly on Easter weekend like this, the sun is out. Everyone looks outside and go, maybe I should get out there before it starts raining again, which I absolutely wholeheartedly concur with.
Yes.
Do it and, learn something a bit different. What's the most mind-boggling fact out of all the guides you currently have that you found out and you went, no, I can't believe that. Why did I not know that before?
Well, I happened to just thought of one, and that is that Annie Oakley of Annie Get Your Gun and the Wild Bill... What was it? Bill Cody's
Bill Hickok.
Yeah,
what was it? Hickok. Yeah.
Yeah. Toured the whole of Kent and south of England in the early 1900s, and they had 600 workers with them. They came over from America and 200 horses and toured all around. They did a show in Ashford. They did it in Royal Tunbridge Wells.
No.
Hastings. They went all over with the show. Now, can you imagine in the days before the internet of trying to move, in the days before, easy transport that we have, moving 600 people, sleeping them somewhere, 200 horses. And that's the sort of thing I just find fascinating, because I think, how did it happen, and how did we not all know that?
It is so interesting. I didn't know that at all. And again, now I'm thinking about how they moved around that many people. Yeah. This is why I love your guides, because genuinely you start off in one place, mentally or physically, and you think you know where it's going to go, and then it takes you off on a trail, and all of a sudden your mind is blown and you're thinking about something totally different.
Yeah, and we try... Oh, sorry, I was going to say, the other thing we try and do is find little alleyways and places that you wouldn't go if you just went to the middle and walked around the middle. Take you off little alleyways and things, so you see bits you wouldn't
I am a little alleyway goer. I like little alleyways. I used to live on an alleyway when I was in Whitstable. I'm all for alleyways and finding out little things that are tucked away, because I like to see those. What about the more macabre things that you've uncovered? Because I must admit, I quite enjoy darker things like that, and I know particularly that you did a book for my area, and that there are some very dark details in there. What things have you uncovered that you didn't expect?
We tried to make it as well that although it's children's activity, it's not a children's reading book, but we do try and keep our language nice so that there isn't anything too horrific for them. So we tone it down a bit. Yes. But there's one I did like in Box Hill. We've just done the Dorking quiz trail, Leatherhead quiz trail. Peter Lebellier, he was 76. He was a complete eccentric, and he wanted to be buried upside down on Box Hill. So there he is, buried upside down, the only grave on Box Hill, and there he is.
I love it. Why did they let him? I mean, that's the kind of thing, you would have thought was a bit of a flight of fancy, and someone would have said, of course you can't. Yeah, but they let him do it, and I love these things.
1800.
Well, I suppose. Oh, can you imagine doing that now?
Yeah, and another one I like as well is King Charles II. He had a girlfriend, mistress they called them then, didn't they? He had Nonsuch Mansion in Cheam, massive old palace. He gave it to his girlfriend in the 1670s. She had loads of gambling debts, so she had it pulled down and sold off all the bricks to pay off her gambling debts. Now,
what a shame! Well, it's a wonderful story, but it's a shame as well, because you think, and I suppose that building is still 300 years old, so I shouldn't get too upset because this happened in the 1600s. But
but what a reason for pulling your house down.
What a crazy idea. I love it, Liz. This is perfect. And I genuinely would love to get you back again. We have to do this again, because every time I chat to you, I'm genuinely fascinated by what you have to say. And I do think, let's hope that the nice weather lasts this weekend, at least for the next couple of days over Easter. And everyone has got a reason now to get out and not only just meander around, to welcome off your big roast lunch that you're going to have over the Easter weekend, of course, and all the chocolate eggs, which I hope everyone's eating. It's the law this weekend, isn't it, Liz? But, it's all good fun. Yeah, and exactly, it's calorie free. You get some energy. It really keeps you fit, keeps you healthy, burn off some calories, and it's good fun, and you learn things you wouldn't have known otherwise. And what's not to love about that?
Yeah.
Thank you, Liz. Thank you. We will speak again. And I think you're off to the circus now, aren't you?
We're off to the circus now. I'm off to the hop farm, to the circus. Now, there's just down the road from there is the grave of a man that's very close to my heart, and that's James Pimm, who invented Pimm's.
Oh!
And he's buried at East Peckham, so we must salute that man as the warmer weather comes.
I'm so grateful to him. Without him, life would have been very, very different, and I certainly would have missed out on a few hangovers in summer. But I didn't know that, and he came from Kent. There you go. Oh, amazing.
He was from near Sittingbourne, yeah.
I love that. Liz, see, you're doing it. Just knock it out of the park. Every time, I go to wrap up the conversation, there's something else that you come back with that I'm like, no, I didn't know that. So, as I say, I genuinely, this is the kind of radio version of a dinner party, and you'd be welcome round to mine for a dinner party any time you like, because I genuinely think you are full of, don't call it useless facts. Your mum's wrong on that.
It's my mummy.
No, she doesn't know what she's talking about. They're good facts. They're good facts, and I like it very. You should take her on a few quiz trials, then she'd realise how interesting they are.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for talking to me. The lady behind the quiz trail. And as I say, if you want to do one this weekend, maybe not in time to order it on her website, which you can do so. In fact, I'll tell you what, Liz, what is the website address in case people do want to make note of that?
Yeah, www.quiztrail.co.uk.
quiztrail.co.uk. Thank you, Liz. I'll say goodbye again, and we will speak again. I'm going to make sure.
And everyone enjoy the sunshine.
Oh, yeah, we've got to make the most of it, haven't we? Because let's face it, we haven't had quite enough of it this year. But hopefully it's the beginning of the end, a nice Easter weekend, and that's what we'll see from now on. So it's been really nice chatting to you. And as I say, not for the last time, Liz, because Liz will be back and with more of those fascinating facts. What a cool thing to do. And as I say, that really will excite the whole family.
BBC Radio Kent.